The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today.
You're listening to the Struggling Artist Podcast.
People need to be entertained. They need the distraction.
With your host, Trev Allen.
I wish to God that somebody would do something to block out the voices in my head for 5 minutes.
Hello, everybody. Today, our guest is New York's very own Troublebound. This is a band that's been around since 1999. Right up my alley with that type of punk rock. This was an awesome conversation, and I hope you all enjoy it. Stick around to the end to hear a song off of their album, Broken Ribs and Blood Clots. What a fucking name for a song. This is episode 374 of the Struggling Artist Podcast, Struggling with Troublebound. Like the second or third Wayne's World reference in the last year for me, and that's awesome because like I missed the shit out of that movie, you know.
You gotta say Zang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Troublebound, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for doing this.
Yay!
Thanks for having us.
This all came about because I was listening to you guys while I was cooking, and I posted something about it and accidentally tagged you as a collaborator, I think, and. So like I'm shamelessly plugging my record club at the same time, and it was like I was upset with myself for accidentally tagging you the wrong way, but you guys were cool about it, so I appreciate
all good.
that. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I totally appreciate it.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, so I discovered you guys right after Broken Ribs and Blood Clots came out. A buddy of mine mentioned you guys and said, "Oh man, these guys have been killing it for like since like '99 or something." And I was like, "Really? How come I haven't heard of them?" And I checked you out and I loved it. Grabbed the record and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get these guys on at some point." And then life just kind of, you know how life gets, you know. So
just brings you together.
Yeah. So you guys have been doing this since '99. That's a long time. Tell me about that. Like what got you guys started? Has the personnel changed over the years? Any of that?
That's a Johnny question.
Yeah, a little bit. Just kind of started as like I had a band in high school, and then when I moved up to a new area, my one friend that I made in the new school, she had a boyfriend that was a year older, and he was in ska bands. And they were going to do a show, and she had told him that I had a band, and he thought it was like a little bit of a miscommunication that I had a band, but I didn't have a band. And he was like, "All right, you're on the show, man, July 24th, at the Thorn Building in Millbrook." And I was like, "Oh shit. Well, I guess I better get some people together." So I got my cousin who was in the band in high school, and then some other players from actually his band, the ska band, to play drums and a second guitar. And we played our first show after, I had about a month's notice because it was on the day of my high school graduation that he was, talking to me about this show. So just kind of got together. A few members had dropped off in the beginning. I had kind of got into the scene around here from like a girlfriend that I had met and from around here, and found Big Boy Records, and played shows at when she was like, they do these shows at the Way End of Fire Hall, and that's where I met Dan. And
I was in a band called Sick Rick and the Pukes.
Nice.
And I saw them, and I was like, hey, I think we'd work well together.
Yeah, we didn't. The bass player had left the band, so it was just me and a drummer at one point. So, yeah, didn't want to give up, and just kept going. And we took a hiatus for a while. We had gone through a few different changes and a few hiatuses, and then I knew we've known Brian forever and played with his bands in the scene and over the years. And when me and Dan started, going again, there was only one person we thought of that we could.
Brian's like the universal drummer in our area. If you need a drummer, call Brian.
And they did.
And we did, and he said yes, which is
hounded
crazy.
This man,
That's
and he
awesome.
eventually showed up.
Just kept hounding him.
I didn't know if I'd have time with all my bands.
Yeah, he tried. He tried to deflect us, but didn't work.
Yeah, right on. Right on. Tell me a little bit, so how long was the hiatus for?
Well, there was a 1-year hiatus in 2009, and then there was like a 10-year hiatus for a while.
Okay.
Where from like 2013 to like 2022 or 2023.
Yeah, 22.
And then it actually kind of came about from Holly convinced me to put Troublebound's music on Spotify, and I was like, well, if you think people want to hear it, and you help me do it, because I don't know anything about computers or technology. So she had put the Here to the End record that turns 20 years old this year on, and somebody had saw it. Dan's ex, Margaret, had seen that we had posted about it going on Spotify and was like, Dan would love this, you should talk to him, you should call him up. And I was like, I got his number, I think, but it was an old number, I guess, and she put us in contact, and we played some phone tag for a little bit, and then we got together.
And it was funny, she called me and she's like, you wouldn't play with Johnny again, would you? I was like, fuck yeah, I would.
Yeah.
And then we got back together, and here we are.
That's
And
awesome. That's
Now
awesome.
Brian's with us.
During that time, were you doing other projects musically, or were you just kind of not? Were you stagnant, and what did that feel like? Because it feels like to me, so Troublebound is like the project for you, right? So it's what was going on during that time? Did it kind of fuck with you? You know what I mean?
It was hard, for that long hiatus. I really was, just kind of walked away from a while and was just like, there was some stuff that happened, and just really didn't want to, you get frustrated, you get upset, and then you're like, I'm never fucking doing this shit again. Fuck this, But you're really kind of kidding yourself, because it's something that's in your heart and in your soul that you're just not the same when you're not doing it. And as happy as you have happy times in your life, you're not feeling like yourself when you're not doing it, and you're not feeling complete. Like, it left a giant hole in me, and I really missed it a lot. But I was like, I don't know, where am I going to get, where am I going to put people together that feel the way I do? And
it's not only about getting people, it's people that you gel with.
Yeah.
And in that hiatus, I tried to play with other people, and it was just a fucking train wreck. I left I don't want to do this. So I always worked on guitars and sold guitars and stuff. I had a kid, and then years later, my ex-girlfriend of all people, man, was like, would you play with him again? I'm like, yeah, I absolutely would. And then, we got back together, and, things have been going like they were.
Going great.
And it was nice to see, because, like I said, I played with other people, and it was like, this isn't working.
Like people say, better than ever, but really it has been better than ever. And it kind of makes you kind of kick yourself a little bit, because you're like, man, we should have done this sooner, a lot sooner, And I had been I played a few solo shows here and there, and Holly had booked me at one that I played with one of Brian's other bands, Entropy, back in like 2017, and he approached me at the show and was like, if you ever want to do Troublebound show, stuff, like, let me know, hit me up. And he gave me his phone number, and I never called him, not because I didn't want to, but I was like, where am I going to find a bass player with, I don't know, and
it's weird how we convince ourselves that, right?
Yeah.
We're, like in the throes of it. Yeah. I've done that with like, I took a hiatus, I write and I took a hiatus for way too long. And like, when I started doing it again, I was like, why did I even stop? Like, I'm a person that's like, you can definitely tell there's something wrong with me if I'm not doing something that I love. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And I have like a pretty stoned face usually as it is, so it's like it makes it even worse. Like people are like, just fucking let me go away from this guy. You know what I'm saying? So, but we do, like, we come up with these just reasons not to continue it or not to bring it back, and that's kind of like this. So I started this podcast in 2017 with a buddy. And we were talking to all different types of artists, and we started it because I was like super uninspired as a writer. Like I had nothing, and I was like, "This sucks. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like let me interview some people. Maybe that will help." So this podcast is 100% selfish because it's I talk to musicians and I love their music, and like it's like I got to pick their brain about the creative process, and you know what I mean, or whatever. Because like I don't know. And even with this podcast now, like I brought it back in 2020, and then like. I haven't stopped, but there's probably once. It used to be like once a week. I'd be like, I'm done, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
but like I've calmed it down. It's probably like once every couple months. We're at a quarterly motion of that right now. So
Headphones come unplugged. I'm through with this.
So, but it's just it's cool to see, especially like it's a project that. That started so long ago, pick back up like this. And I like whenever I see a band that's been inactive for a long time and then they kind of start up again, I smile because, like I said, I know what it is for me when I can't do what I love creatively. And then when I start it up again, like that feeling I get, So now Broken Ribs and Blood Clots, was that the first LP since coming back?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the first recording that we did all together.
Okay, cool.
And it was cool because I had talked to Brian, who had always recorded a lot with his other bands with John from Nada, who I had always heard about and always liked the recordings I heard from him. And I was like, yeah, we should go in and record some of these new songs. There's these songs that were never recorded, and do a couple. And then it was originally just going to be a couple of songs, and then it turned out to be like a whole full record. So it was cool. We had a lot of fun, and then we joked about doing it again, and John was like, book it now, and I was like, all right, how's October sound? And he was like, are you serious? And I was like, yes. So we wrote a whole new record all together, and I think I know everybody says this, but I really think they're some of the best songs we've ever churned out.
And some good stuff on there.
We're excited to bring them to everybody. That was almost a year ago that we recorded that album, so we're looking to get that out soon.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. This came at the right time then, huh? I just break news. We just break news on this podcast?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
You got this scoop.
That's awesome. That's great.
You can't be mad when we're done, so.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, Brian, let me ask you, because, you seem like you've been the most active during this time, and Troublebound was a band that you've seen play before and you just enjoyed and then kind of made friends with, or?
I mean, I was in a ska band for a while, and we used to. I think the first show we played together was with River City Rebels at the Loft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was like really like, what was that, like 2003, 2004 maybe?
Yeah. Look it up.
And, it's funny because like, as you get older, like when I was younger, the only band I was really in was that band. And then like, you start meeting new people through bands, and then eventually the whole scene just becomes incestuous, and you just like start like, oh, I'm going to be, because I was, so like my band prior to Troublebound, I was actually the singer was in one of the bands that I first played with at that River City Rebels show. So like, I started a band with him, and now I'm in a band with Troublebound, and yeah, I just kind of stayed active since God 99 with just having bands. Sometimes multiple bands, sometimes only one band, but I just like never stopped.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And Holly, what about for you?
This is the only band I've ever not been in.
Okay.
I'm really just.
That's not true. That's not true.
She did play the cajon for us for a while.
I did.
Before we got Brian.
We joke around before they convinced Brian to join the band. Actually, when Dan just started coming over and jamming, and they needed a drummer, and so we have a cajon.
We went out and bought a cajon.
That's that box thing that you sit on and you
yeah.
I don't know if I wouldn't know what it was.
I never knew what it was called, but I now that you tell me, yeah.
Cajon. Yeah, Johnny got asked to play a show by himself, a solo show
at the Chance
in Poughkeepsie, a year before they started playing together again, and we had instead of him getting up there alone, we just decided somehow I was going to do percussion. So we got this cajon, and I did not sit on it. I put it on a chair, and I pretended it was like, I don't know. But I can keep time really well. Yes, my beatbox.
Yeah.
And so when they started jamming together, I kept time for them. And they said I was their drummer, so I became their drummer.
She's fucking sick on that thing. She's being very modest right now. She's killer on it. So.
And then one day I just said to them, you guys, this is a lot of fun and I love doing it, but I feel like you need to you actually have to lock down a drummer. You got to call Brian, because if you want to start playing shows again, this is not the way it's going to work. Like, you can't get up there. Like, we're not going to show up, Troublebound's back, and it's just me, like, hitting a box. Like, that's not going to do it. So that was kind of the motivation to, like, harass Brian.
But it was kind of funny because like the first show I played with Troublebound, I used the cajon.
Yeah, I was gonna say we had like Brian using it.
He passed the torch to me.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Right,
about
he
that.
looks awkward as fuck on
it's
it.
It's really great.
No, he does. He looks like a natural.
That thing fucking sucked. My wrist hurt. My hands hurt. It sucked.
But it was fun. It
was cool.
It was like the icebreaker for them all playing together before they got on the stage with like at the Chance with because that's where their first show was the big Chance show in Poughkeepsie. So it was a good icebreaker, and it was an acoustic show. So the cajon made sense.
It's funny the way that happened, because we had the big comeback show planned at the Chance, and then this old promoter from back in the day that used to book us.
Freddie, what's up, Freddie? He's got a podcast somewhere.
Freddie Hernandez. He had asked us to play a show, and I was like, well, we can't undermine the big comeback show. I was like, well, he asked me to play solo, and I was like, I don't want to play solo without my guys. You know what I mean? I was like, what if we play the show as a Troublebound cover band from Canada, and we call ourselves Hand-Me-Downs, which is like a spin-off of one of the songs, and we play it like, hey, we're going to go to the show and check out this Troublebound cover band and see if they're any good.
Which may have backfired because fucking no one was there. So we played in front of other bands. That's about it. But it was fun. It was really fun.
It was a good time. It was a horrible rainstorm that happened that day, which might have kept the people of Nyack from coming inside.
But it was a good way to get back on stage and because the first show we were having back was on a big stage in Poughkeepsie. So, it was fun.
I also always feel like when you're first starting to play with new people, I mean, with me anyway, I feel like the first show, when you first start playing with people, is always the worst show. Because you're kind of still guessing the songs. Yeah. And I think that the show with the cajon, like, really, you get all those like...
jitters.
You get the jitters out.
When I saw him sitting on that box, I knew he was serious.
We knew he was the one.
We knew he was the one.
That's awesome. So you guys are in the Hudson Valley, right? Whereabouts?
Around Newburgh area.
Okay, yeah.
The general area.
Yeah. I had a buddy who lived in Beacon for a while.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And man, that was a haul. And every time I went there, it was a weird place. Like, I mean, it was cool, but like every time I went there, there was like some kind of parade, and I was like, "What? How is there a parade here every time I come here?" Like it was one time, it was like a cats and dogs parade. I'm like, "How is that going to work? You're going to walk cats and dogs at the same time?"
Yeah, sounds right.
Sounds like Beacon, yeah.
It's just so weird. I don't know. My buddy, because he had moved up there, and like I drove him from. I had to move. Well, because he's not a very good driver. We'll just say that he's not a very good driver. And like he's like, "Hey, I rented this truck to move all this stuff. Could you help?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll help. Whatever. I'll drive the truck for you." And we picked it up, and he was living in Yonkers at the time, and he was like trying to show me the way to go. I'm like, "Dude, I can't take this on all these parkways. Like, we got to find a different way. Like, you know what I mean, to try to get around." And once we did, and it was fun. It was an adventure for sure. Like I said, I had gone up there a couple times, and it's a long haul for me because I was living in Worcester, Mass. So.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah, but it was cool. It was a cool little place. They had this like Doctor Who restaurant or some shit up there, and like,
Yeah.
and I know we went to Newburgh a few times. They used to have like it was like a giant flea market, I think, in Newburgh, and we'd go there. Yeah. So, but yeah. So that's I'm a little familiar with the Hudson Valley. Other than when I lived in Pennsylvania, I would travel 84 all the time, and that was like I'd cut right through the Pocono Mountains and all that stuff, and.
Yep.
And get on 84 from there. So, but yeah, it's cool that like I don't know, like I said, because like you guys, I mean, from 99. So I graduated high school in 99. I'll put that out there. I'm an old man
Me too.
So yeah,
Yeah, same here.
yeah. All right, cool. So a couple old heads.
Mine's like what, 27? I always forget how old you are.
I'm 40. Jesus. I got a couple grays. It's coming.
And probably it was probably 99 or 2000 is when I really started getting into more of like kind of like punk rock, you know, street rock, that kind of thing. And listening to you guys now, like it would have been right up my alley. Like, you know, it's I know the internet was around then, but it wasn't as accessible as it is now with finding music and everything.
I don't know that we were on it back then either.
I think different people that knew how to do the voodoo of the internet posted some videos from shows.
I think I found like one cell phone video, and it was like those really old, terrible cell phones.
It's all pixelated.
Yeah, it's all pixelated on
awesome.
YouTube.
They're still up. They're still there.
Yeah, that's
I'll
awesome.
find some performances from like New Paltz in 03 and different stuff.
It's like a Bigfoot video. It's just kind of blurry. Right
There's
on.
one in the gazebo.
Is that the?
They're
Oh my
like,
God, I
playing in
forgot
the
about the
gazebo,
gazebo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the New Paltz show.
Yeah.
So that's
So I want to ask this because, like I said, you definitely have that street rock sound I like, but you also have this like, I don't know if it's rockabilly or just kind of older rock and roll sound to you too. That I feel like it kind of makes you guys stick out from what people would normally hear. You know what I'm saying? Tell me a little bit about your influences as far as like for the whole band, not just like that one aspect of it.
Well, I pull from a lot of different stuff. I was really big into Hank Williams Sr. growing up, and Stray Cats. My mom used to always play, and she'd have their cassettes going in the back of the Buick. I'd be bouncing in the back seat, listening to the Stray Cats and Carl Perkins and Eddie Cochran and all them 50s rockers, and it kind of leaks into my songwriting from time to time, and just all kinds of stuff. Rancid blew me away, and when I was 13 years old, and saw those videos for the first time on 120 Minutes when me and my friends were staying up late at a sleepover, and just kind of, I was like, look at these fucking guys, like never seen a person with a mohawk before, and I was like, this is awesome. I never heard anything like this, and I want to do that. I want to listen to that. I want to play that. So, and just digging underground from there, Operation Ivy, Jawbreaker, a lot of different bands, Social D, Bad Religion. What about you guys?
I feel like we are the same type of, like, when we got done with dinner, me and my mom would dance to like the oldies station, like stuff like that. So I grew up on rockabilly. I loved it. I had the Stray Cats cassette. I remember me and my sister sitting up in a tree listening to it on one of those little recorders,
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I think we just, as far as writing goes, just whatever we like. I know I'll write something, think it's cool, bring it to them, and I mean they usually think it's cool, and vice versa. So
Yeah.
I think we're all on the same page as far as that stuff goes. Brian's, I think, a little more out there. You can talk, Brian.
Yeah.
With his
I like
influence and stuff, but
it's funny because like I guess like when I was younger, my parents listened to a lot of oldies also, so I got into a lot of that stuff. But then I remember like watching like Mallrats, and like Mallrats had that Squirt Gun song on it.
yeah,
And I remember like hearing that in Green Day and Offspring and all Weezer, and just like for some reason, I mean, I'm sure everyone's like this, but like you kind of hear all this other music going on around you, and you're like, oh, like, you know, Nine Inch Nails is cool, and you know, Pearl Jam's cool, but then you hear like Johnny heard Rancid, and I heard, you know, Green Day, Blink-182 and stuff like that, and it just like kind of hooks you in. And I think from there you kind of like start to expand more. Like you start off like, oh, Goldfinger and all that shit, and then all of a sudden you find No Effects, and then you find, you know, you delve deeper and you find Screeching Weasel and Os Rotten and like all that stuff. So I think that I think together as a band we have a pretty eclectic sound of like influences and stuff, and it just kind of works together a lot.
Yeah, I think what's great, especially about the new record that we wrote together, is we have like this really cool, intricate core of influences that we all share and kind of have very similar, but also have our own little unique influences that kind of come in and leak into it too, and it comes together to form something really special, I think.
and it was cool to have Brian actually contribute. I don't mean that in a fucked up way. I mean, we've had other drummers that are, you know, couldn't even, you know, barely fucking play the right time. So to have him like, oh, I have this cool part, or I have this cool song, and he was a huge part of writing this one too.
And
So.
Brian, don't let Brian fool you. He's very talented. He can play all the instruments. So like he wrote this band can play anything, like as far as the different parts of the song. So like just bringing that ear and that skill set to it is important too, you know.
And he has a voice like an angel.
He does.
I wish.
We call them angel pipes in the studio.
Angel pipes, so you said?
Angel pipes. Yeah, but yeah,
Which he thought meant something totally different, but that's another podcast.
we won't go in there. We won't go there.
No.
We don't want to get banned from the airwaves. But yeah, I think that's what people are gonna find is very special about the new record. Is like we actually all sat down and wrote it together. Like I brought songs, Dan brought songs, Brian brought songs, and we just kind of all sat in the living room here, and Brian had a guitar, I had a guitar, Dan had his bass, and we just kind of worked on stuff together and really developed them and really formed them and put them together, all three of us. Whereas in the past it was me and Dan really kind of formulating and putting these songs together, and now I just feel like we have like the three of us together are all equally really kind of putting something special into everything we're putting out there. So,
and it was cool to see Brian do that too, because it was a weird year for me. I had just gotten out of hospital, so when we were talking about recording, it was very like I was still dealing with my own health stuff, so it was like I don't really have a lot on deck. You know what I mean? So to play off of another person that we haven't really played off of before was pretty cool, and I think you'll hear it in these new songs too. So
it was also like I feel like we were we had to like kind of buckle down too, because we were playing shows and we're like, oh, we're recording in October, and we're like, it's fine, it's March. Oh, we're recording in October. Oh, it's June, and then July we were like,
back up real quick.
Maybe we should like just chill and just write some songs.
yeah,
because I was like, oh shit! I was like, we only got like 2 months left, and we only have 6 songs, and we did like how many? Like 12,
11,
13, 11,
and the Bring the Noise radio theme song.
Yeah. Within all that time that they went right through that album, and they wrote a lot of it, the different like parts in the studio, which was cool. And then I was starting my radio show, and I said, I need a theme song, guys. I need a little theme song, and they wrote it. And I showed up, and they had this whole, like I came from work at the end of the day, and they had this song written and recorded, and then we just did all the vocal parts, all the gang vocals, and I did my little voiceover, and we had a theme song. It was like magic. It's like instant.
That's awesome.
I think we even had time left over, didn't we? In
Yeah,
the studio?
We did. We were
you
doing
recorded
mixing
the-
on Sunday.
Yeah. Like we buzzsawed through everything. And
Yeah,
it
you even
was-
did that little extra
Yeah.
song
Yeah.
that we haven't used
Yeah.
yet for the radio show.
Yeah,
so
we were
that was-
very organized, which
it was
was
fun.
nice.
Yeah.
But we were starting to work on the new songs in March, and Dan ended up, in the hospital in April, and as we were kind of, he was recovering and getting better and stuff, and then we had the 25th anniversary show last July that we were preparing for, and then once that was over, we were like, oh shit, we booked a week in October, and that's 2 months or 2.5 months away. We got to get together and lock down and really start putting songs together, because we only had like one song really put together.
And it was funny, when I was in the hospital, we had that show coming up, and that's all I cared about. I'm like, can I play a show? And the doctors and the nurses are like, what are you fucking talking
They're like,
about?
"No."
And I got the okay every time. So we did it.
Nice.
We actually had 4 shows lined up.
Yeah, and I did all of them.
That's pretty
You did.
That's good.
together.
That's good. Does it feel good to have Brian involved as far as writing now? Like is it like, would you not go back to any other way at this point? Like this is what it is.
No, I love it. I love having everybody throwing stuff in
Contributing,
instead
yeah.
of just, well, I'm going to do my part, or I'm going to do this part.
Yeah,
Having it like, he brought actual songs and we all worked on them together, and it was nice. It's
Yeah.
nice that he's more than just a drummer.
It's kind of nice because, like, I've always kind of wrote small things for other bands, like maybe like one song, but I really feel like this last album was like a group effort. Because even like, Johnny would have songs that were like in acoustic form, and then we would kind of go through them and be like, oh, well, what if we change this chord to a minor? Or what if we slow down here? Or what if we maybe do some sort of, octave line here and stuff like that? And it was kind of nice because, like, you kind of had these song structures written, and then we were able to kind of sit down as a band. We all had a guitar, and we all just kind of tried new things to try and make these songs, I guess, better than just being like, oh, well, we got acoustic versions, let's just do them electric and just play them straight as they are.
Yeah.
They
That's
were thought
awesome.
out instead of just slapped together. Not that our stuff is slapped together, but
Yeah. But
when it came down, like we didn't have a lot of time before we were
really,
recording.
We really did.
And then when we actually sat down and went
Yeah.
over the stuff that we had. So.
Yeah, and I went through all my notebooks, and I was farming out some songs, if you want to call it that, and there were certain parts where I'd be stuck on stuff, and I sometimes put a lot of pressure on myself because I'm like, I don't want to cancel the studio that we had booked, the time we had booked, and I was like, but I'm stuck on this part. It doesn't really. How do I transition into here? And the nice thing is that like on Maximum Security, when I brought it to you guys, it was like Brian was like, oh no, we'll do this right here. And then when we started, we did the stuff acoustic first, or like without the drums here, so we weren't paying for rehearsal time. And then we brought it with the real drum kit after we had them really ready and developed. And it really kind of was a breath of fresh air, especially because when we got there, I think 2 of the songs I didn't have like lyrics for, and
Right.
this one song, Step to the Line, which came out really great. I was really like feeling the pressure, like I gotta get something because we're doing vocals tomorrow. And then Brian came up. Luckily John gave us the rough mix of the songs, and he came up with this vocal melody, and it really helped out because I went in there and then I was able to write a verse, and then I came in and recorded the verse, and I was like, wait, just play the song over and over again in the headphones, and then I started writing more, and it really helped everything and everybody. Like we said, it was a group effort, and it really came together almost like magic. It was really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you guys recorded this last October?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has it been like killing you not to release it yet?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yes.
We're working on all kinds of stuff. We're working on videos.
Yeah.
We're looking for a label to put it out.
Nice.
So we're we're not just sitting on it, or we're working on
No, we also
things.
have we have blood clots
And
still that we're
we're trying
getting
to
out there, you know.
do a few more things for blood clots. So
And there's like a 20th anniversary vinyl edition of the Here to the End album. It's coming out on vinyl for the first time, so that's coming out soon. So
it's out
we
for
also
pre-order right now.
Yeah, we didn't want to like kind of step on the toes of that release, I guess. But we're kind of getting all our ducks in a row where we started shooting music videos for like we're gonna put out a single soon. It's a song called "The Only Way I Know." So we started doing some video footage for that, so that we could just kind of have a package deal when we put the song out, and there will be a video to go with it and cool stuff like that.
Where can people go if they want to get if they want to pre-order the anniversary record?
That's on Mild Chaos Records. So it's just mildchaosrecords.com.
I just want to make sure I get that in the notes for you guys.
And it's on a cool splatter.
Yeah, it's
yellow and purple.
It's purple translucent vinyl with yellow splatter.
Oh,
Cool.
I like that. Yeah. I don't have one of those. As you can tell, I have a few. You know.
Yeah, I see the Ducky Boys dark hours back there.
Yeah. That was
that record.
And we
that
put
was
I don't have it on vinyl.
Yeah, we put together a whole insert for the record. We've got some vintage photos in there, and it's going to include all the lyrics. And there's it's going to be a real nice anniversary edition. Some
new photos. The CD's been long out of print, and so we put some good stuff in there. It's going to be a nice little package there. So
that's cool. Holly, real quick, how do people listen to your radio show? Where
anywhere it's an online radio show.
Okay.
So it airs on Wednesdays. It's on WXAX. So if you're on radio.net or Live 365, or you can download the WXAX app. It's on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to noon, and then it plays again at 10 p.m. to midnight.
That's awesome.
It's live.
Cool. It's very easy to get, and it's very, very user friendly too, which I like about it. You just go there and hit play, and you don't have to do anything computery.
You just
I'm terrible with that shit.
Yeah,
you just open the app and press play. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, I partner with In Effect Hardcore to do the show. I think that we've got the best mix of punk and hardcore that you can find. It's 2 hours long. And we're working on archiving it so that you can listen to past episodes.
Yeah, that's been my one like downfall when I listen to stuff like an internet radio. Is like I can't go back, and I'm like, oh, you know.
And we get a lot of requests, so we are working on it. But it's a lot to do with licensing music and doing all that. Stuff, you know. So we're working on it, and once we've got it, we'll blast it out there. It's you can follow us on Instagram at Bring the Noise Radio, and
that's awesome.
Keep up with everything.
Oh yeah. We do one on the Patreon. It's for the patrons on there. It's been on hiatus for a little bit, but it's coming to come back. But it's a lot of work, you know. And there's a bunch of us that are like a collective of people that we've got some other projects in the work that are going to be something similar. And I was like, man, this is like. And like I made sure I picked people that are all like go-getters, you know, like people that have shit already going on, because like I was like I can't lead something else. Like I have too much
to
do, you know. I'm like I really just want to be like I just want someone else to do it, and I'll just be a player, you know. It gets tough. How do you guys balance time? Now that we're all a little bit older, and you know?
The best we can. The best we can.
But we try to stick to like a certain day. You know, obviously, like this is kind of like my main band. So if any of my other bands have a show, it's kind of like I always make sure that Trouble Bound doesn't have a show first before I book another show. But yeah, I mean, we usually practice all like the same night, and try to keep it consistent during the week and stuff like that, and that helps a lot.
Yeah,
we try to plan everything out. We try to keep the communication going. I try to, you know, because I miss the old typewriter days. I get on the computer on the little Word page thing or whatever it's called, and I use the old typewriter font, and I type up like, oh, we got this show here, and then I give these guys
he types up itineraries,
little printouts like, hey, all right, we got these shows coming up. We got this this interview thing on August 29th, and we got this thing happening.
And it helps too because I can't remember a goddamn thing. So
And then they have me for that. So.
yes,
Yeah.
And I schedule everything else, and I make sure that all the promotional
Yes.
stuff is done, and the show booking's done, and all that. So merchandise, flyers, all of that.
What has been the biggest difference in the last 26 years of playing music? What do you wish, for the better and for the worse, right? What either end of the spectrum, what have you seen that's noticed? Because there's a lot of people, I talk to a lot of people, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of guys I talk to, they probably weren't alive in '99, you know what I mean? But like I was, so it's cool when I get someone that's close in age that I can kind of talk with this about,
Yeah. Well, a lot. There's some, like you said, there's some ups, there's some pluses and some minuses. A lot of people were scared or hating on the streaming thing, and I can understand that. I'm a physical media kind of guy myself. I love having records and CDs and cassettes and stuff, but the upside to it is when we put it on Spotify and all the streaming applications or whatever they are, we got people that contact us from all over the world that are listening all over the world. We have this cool fan that we gained from Switzerland that writes us emails and letters like how much he loves the band and how much he's like, this is this, you can use these pictures on your 25th anniversary display to show you that you're being loved in Switzerland or in all around the world, that Troublebound's being loved. So we've got people that have contacted us that in places we've never been or never have gone to that are hearing our music and listening to it, and that's pretty cool because that's an opportunity that unless you have the money and the management to get out there and be playing all these shows in Europe and all that stuff, maybe you don't necessarily get that exposure, but we've got some of that exposure going on, and that's pretty cool. It seems like when we were going in the late 90s and early 2000s that there just seemed to be a lot more venues and a lot more shows.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chance is closed. That was a big place that had 3 different clubs attached to it, where we've played shows there with the Casualties back in the day and the Unseen and River City Rebels and the Murder Junkies and you name it. We were always...
And it was a huge place, too. I've seen a lot of awesome bands there, my whole life. And
Social Distortion
now
there.
Now that's gone. When did they go close down? Right after our show, right?
Right, yeah, a few months after our show. October of 2023.
So,
yeah.
But you see, all these other little places popping up, and it's pretty cool.
It's a lot more DIY.
Yeah, it's yes.
I also think that as far since I've been playing in bands pretty consistently, I've seen how everything changes, and back in the early 90s, early 2000 or late 90s, early 2000s, you still needed to tour. You needed to really to get your name out there. You had to be on the road all the time. You had to constantly play everywhere. And I feel now, you see bands now, they release an album on a Friday, and then by Saturday, they've got 1 million plays, and everyone's downloading their demo before they've even played their first show. And I think that that's a big main thing. And I think that that's kind of how streaming has made it easier for independent bands to be able to get huge without needing a huge record label to push them or give them a tour advance or anything like that. And I think that that's it kind of sucks because when I was younger and I would go on tour and stuff like that, it was nice. You're oh, you meet this person in New Orleans, you meet this person in Florida, this person in Oklahoma and all that stuff. But now, because everyone's connected online, it's kind of the same thing, but it's not as personable, I feel and it's a lot more, I don't know how to put it. I like touring. I like that it might be easier to be able to get your band out there now than it was back when we were all younger. But still, it's kind of you kind of miss that. You kind of miss cutting your teeth as a band on the road and meeting new people, going to see new places, and now it's just kind of oh, you can release something online and get millions of followers and millions of streams and stuff like that. So I think it's changed a lot that way, as well as like Dan and Johnny saying, like, around us there used to be tons of VFW halls. There were different clubs all over the place that you could book your show. I mean, you could go an entire month and play every single weekend at a different club just in our area. And now it's like, Holly books at the VFW hall. There's Reason and Ruckus in Poughkeepsie. There's a VFW hall kind of like / school that's over in Warwick, which is about like maybe 20 minutes from where I live. But I guess it's good and it's bad in a lot of ways, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right on. So let's talk about touring since Brian mentioned it. Are you guys touring? Have you done any touring since you've gotten back together? Is there any plan for it?
We've played a few out-of-town shows, but we're looking to do more out-of-state.
Yeah.
It's just been kind of tricky with all the scheduling and stuff lately, but the plan is to, get out there more and do more, like playing weekends out-of-state and doing stuff, trying to get some shows booked in different stuff. And eventually it'd be nice we've talked about it, but we got to come up with a plan to do like maybe a West Coast tour for like a week or something, see how it's going to work out with work and everything. And our Switzerland fan seems to really want us to play Rebellion Fest in the UK, so we're going to try and do that for them.
That's cool.
We just got to get it all worked out.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get on some festivals.
When you're doing everything yourself, it's kind of figuring things out again, you know what I mean? What venues are around and who do you talk to for different stuff.
And the last year was kind of like I was kind of stuck in this spot. Like I had a whole bunch of doctors.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just a lot in the past year. So that's starting to slow down now. So I think, future's wide open, man.
That's good. That's good. I'd love to see you guys live. Hey, and you know what? Hudson Valley's not that far away from where I am. I mean, it's, I'm in Massachusetts. I'm right outside of Worcester, so it's not like it's that far. You know what I'm saying? But if you guys end up coming out this way at all, just let me know, and I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you got any venue recommendations or anything, let us know.
Yeah. Let me pick my brain. I'll throw you some names and people to talk to after this.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
for sure. So I just want to talk real quick about Broken Ribs and Blood Clots because since the vinyl's out now already. Now was this you said these were like songs that you just kind of had stored? Did you write it for an album, or they just kind of like just a bunch of one-offs, or?
Well, it was kind of funny because when we started playing together and jamming together again, I had found this DVD from us playing at the 169 bar in Chinatown in the city, in New York City. And I think it was like one of those weird situations where the guy was like, yeah, if you give me $20, I can record the show and I'll give you a DVD at the end. And I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. I'm glad I did it because I found it when I was unearthing a bunch of stuff when we were getting going and playing again, and I was like, remember this song, Dan?
And it was all like song? Stuff that we were going to put out, and that just never.
It was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was just kind of funny because I was just thinking about that. Now that we're talking about the 20th anniversary of Here to the End, this show was from like January or February of 2006, so that album had just come out 3 or 4 months previous.
Yep.
And we had all these new songs, like No Kind of Life was in there, 000, like
Nickels and Dimes,
what kind of future, Someday, Nickels and Dimes, and just a bunch of stuff on there. So I was like, man, we're watching the DVD, and I'm like, man, I really love that bass line for No Kind of Life. Like we should do that song, and we should do this song, and then so people probably don't know Nickels and Dimes and Someday.
They were played a few times back then, but I mean, only people that were like close to us would probably know them. Yeah, back then anyway.
Yeah, so. That had seen those shows, those handful of shows that we played them at. So I was like, when we were getting going and with Brian and playing, and I think we did the comeback show and a few shows, and I was like, we should record, and Brian was like, let's talk to John at Nada, and So I was like, okay, how many days do you think we need, Brian? And he was like, 3 days. And I was like, all right, cool. So so we booked the 3 days, and then when it was coming up, I was, Brian, can you give me his number, see if it's okay, so I could just talk to him, see what he needs from us. So I get him on the phone, and John's a really funny guy. He's like, he's really cool. He's very like laid back and whatever. And he was like, so how many songs were you thinking of doing? And I was like, either 9 or 11. And I was like, how many do you think we could do in 3 days? And he was like, maybe 4 or 5. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I think Brian's band Entropy had squeezed like 18 songs in 2 days or something, or whatever it was, one day. So I was like, okay, well, whatever you think. You're the master of your craft, like 4 or 5's all right. We'll pick the ones we want to do. And we had started messing around with Old Friend.
Yeah.
Just playing it at practice, and it just leaked into the live shows. And I was like, man, it's like my favorite Rancid song. And Dan was like, yeah, it's my favorite song too. And I was like, that's cool. So we were just had a good time playing it. So I wanted to record that one, and we just picked some songs, and then things went so well. Brian was killing it on the drums, and in 2 hours, I think we had the 5 or 6 songs, and John was like, what else you got? So we did another one, and then that went well in 1 take or 2 takes, and he was like, what else you got? So we did another one, and then it just became 8 songs. So
That's awesome.
I don't know. We just chose the songs that we really wanted to hear on a recording.
Yeah.
It was a good group of songs back, you know what I mean? From not having done anything in a while.
If I could be honest, too, I think Old Friend's a good song to put on like a We're Back kind of record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
even think of that until now, but yeah, that is
I felt like that was like, especially after talking with you guys and hearing like the history, and then like Brian coming in and like and how everything kind of just fits now, and yeah, I feel like that's I didn't think about it till just now when you were talking about it, but yeah, I feel like that's a perfect song for a comeback album. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, it's a really good album, man. I love it. I enjoy it a lot, especially when I'm cooking. Apparently,
cool.
So.
Nice.
Hope we inspire some good recipes.
So I'm excited to hear a new record too from you guys. Hopefully at some point. Now that you guys have it and everything, and I think I'm gonna go pre-order the anniversary record too. I think that'd be that would be a pretty cool thing. Yeah. So, where can people find you on social media? How do they listen to your music? Where's the best place to buy stuff to contribute to you guys?
Well, there's Troublebound 99 at Bandcamp. We've got all merch, and the records, the vinyls, the CDs, the cassettes are all on there. There's some shirts and sweatshirts, and
yeah, that's Troublebound.
You can download
99.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, and then just Troublebound on Facebook, Troublebound on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. If you search, we're working on a YouTube channel. Right now, you just kind of have to search Troublebound, and you'll find everything. And then that's for the most part how to find it. We're just not on Amazon. That's the only thing that they're not on.
Okay.
We're planning on doing a bunch of music videos, even for Broken Ribs. So we're planning on churning some stuff out. We're gonna see how far we get, but we want to do a bunch of videos, and probably we're gonna shoot for the stars. Do one for every song off the new album. So we're working on The Only Way I Know as the first single to come out, and we're hoping to have that out by the end of the year if see how things flow. But that's the plan.
And Brian's quite the little filmmaker over there, so we've been using his stuff. So
that's
got all
awesome.
the goods.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, you see us all in our awkward glory.
Yeah, all the fucking awkward footage, but
trying to.
It's so weird doing that shit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, this was awesome. Thanks for coming on and doing this, talking with me, and
thanks for having us.
Yeah,
I'd love to have you back when the record's out. Let's do this again.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great.
Cool. Awesome. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for coming on, and well, we did the social media, so everyone knows where to find you and everything else. So, all right, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Trev.
Thank you, Trev.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, and that's the show. I want to thank Troublebound again for being today's guests on the Struggling Artist Podcast. In the show notes, you have links to their social media, their Bandcamp, and how to pre-order their 20th anniversary record. I want to thank Chris Chavez, Jeff Bousquet, and Aria Rad for helping out with the Struggling Artist Podcast, all the stuff they do behind the scenes and on air, if you will. Give them a follow. Chris at 716 The Sound. Aria at coffin_salesman, and Jeff at JRB Image, and that is all on Instagram. Thank you to Marcus State Line Records for being sponsors of the podcast. Head to statelinerecords.com and grab some records. Thank you to the band Loser Circle for letting us use their song, The Great Illusion of Time, off of their album Took Long Enough, for the theme song to the podcast. You can always find a link on our website, thestrugglingartistpodcast.com, to their Bandcamp to grab that record if you want to. People over at Patreon supporting us, thank you so much. Your contributions do not go unnoticed. They help the podcasts grow as far as getting new equipment or putting on events. We had a couple events this year, and money went to that, and I appreciate that. The bands, gave some money to the bands to play shows. So thank you. It is fully appreciated. I know I've been teasing I have stuff in the works, and I do. I just need to find the time to finish them. And they'll if you're a patron, you'll reap the benefits of that way before anybody else can. So head over to patreon.com/podcast TSA. Thank you to everybody who listens to the podcast. Whether you listen or share or just like something, it goes a long way, and I appreciate that. If you want to give us any feedback, Trev at thestrugglingartistpodcast.com is where you can get a hold of me via email, or you could text or call the Struggling Artist Hotline at 774-570-1552. All right, it's time to get out of here with a track to play off of Troublebound's Broken Ribs and Blood Clots. The song is called Nickels and Dimes. I love it. Until next week, take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you then.